Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 20-something episode of the Pure Michigan Properties podcast.
I think we hit 25.
We did hit 25.
We're a quarter of 100.
Here's the thing. I wanted them to guess. So I wanted them to
I'm
find out.
so sorry.
I was listening to the podcast episodes actually yesterday.
Yes.
And so I knew where we were. But if the viewers didn't know and the listeners didn't know,
right,
then I want them to catch up.
That's fair. They need to catch up because we're 25 and we're rocking and rolling on them.
That's it.
And you know what? The fact that they're all filled with purposeful information that genuinely you'll need to know eventually in your life. It might not be today, might not be tomorrow, but I promise you there will be a day and you're gonna be like, I wish we listened to that episode that was talking about dual agency, inspections, appraisals. There's so many different aspects. Final walkthroughs, right?
Yeah. The rabbit in the hare.
The rabbit in the hare. It always comes back to it. And you know what? You're going to look back at yourself and you're going to regret it if you didn't watch it.
Listen, a podcast is full of great information for everyone. And it's an opportunity that you won't get anywhere else.
No, I mean, I tell my friends, I'm like, it's the only podcast you need to know.
It's the only podcast you need to know. So tune in on Wednesdays. We're here and helping you get over the hump in your week.
Yes.
And I'm Shalonda, and I'm joined here with...
Hey, I am Dylan.
And so, you guys, we're always excited to come forth and bring new information. And so I think today we did decide that we were just going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the different communities here around Metro Detroit.
Yeah. So we should both agree that there's a macro level to real estate and then there's a micro level. So when I talk about macro, I'm talking about all of real estate or all of Michigan, right? There's different levels to macro. And then when we're talking micro, we focus on specific cities, specific neighborhoods, townships, getting into a smaller picture to really paint a vision of what a specific neighborhood might be doing. One neighborhood might be appreciating or depreciating, and then the neighborhood right next to it might be doing the complete opposite, correct, right? So no neighborhood is similar.
That's right.
And I will never comp something that I know isn't apples to apples or oranges to oranges.
That's right. And funny thing, listen, way off topic, but I'm going to share anyway. Just this morning, I was, the Facebook Reels, they got me. I'm addicted. Mm-hmm. But this one individual, he was, he had a fruit. He was eating a fruit. He was like, what's going on with this new fruit? He was like, I'm almost scared to eat it. Okay. Right? He bought it because he thought that it was a miniature plum. Oh. Turns out it's a cherry plum. Oh. He's like, what's up with this hybrid fruit?
Right. What's the next big thing in the fruit world?
Right.
That's funny.
And so, while it sounds good, but in real estate, like you said, if we're not comparing apples to apples or oranges to oranges, then...
Exactly. I mean, you can only compare things that are very... for us, we'll never compare a ranch compared to a colonial or a bungalow to a colonial, right? Or Cape Cod, right?
Indeed.
It's just... You can't do that.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
None whatsoever.
What are you comparing at the end of the day? Nothing. There's no comparison. They're all different.
And so, well, to your point, and to add to your point, as far as the macro and micro levels of real estate, I totally agree with you there. I had a conversation recently with someone who's looking for a home, and they're not. I'm not gonna say they're not. They're looking specifically in a certain zip code. Okay. Yeah. And I even explained to them zip codes are made of different subdivisions and neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. So even with one neighborhood or subdivision offers, the next subdivision may not offer. Right. And even though they share the same zip code. Right. So.
And even on that aspect too, it's more than just even the comparisons of that. Other things change. Your taxes will change. Yeah. I know for us right now we're sitting in Oakland County.
Mm-hmm.
But if we go across the street, then we go into Wayne County, and it's funny because you don't think you're making that big of a difference. But as soon as you cross that one road,
that's it.
You change counties.
Absolutely.
And that changes like your whole, like the whole breakdown of everything.
Indeed.
Your taxes, your home.
Like you were saying, we're in Oakland County. You cross one road, and we'll be in Wayne County, and things can change.
Mm-hmm.
So.
City to city, township, school district to school district.
Yeah,
that's a big one.
Absolutely.
So I like to tell like my buyers as we're going through like the consultation of everything, and like where we look really does matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you can tell me Oakland County, but Oakland County means a whole lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can say Metro Detroit, and like we need to get a little bit more specific.
Have to narrow it down.
Because I might show you something, and then I'll show you another place, but those taxes might be different, and now you might be out of your purchasing power.
Right, absolutely, and I think that's important as well. But let me ask you this, Dylan, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
What are you seeing as far as averages on homes and things like that in the market that you're in?
So where I'm at, things still continue to rise.
Okay.
Obviously inventory is still not like fabulous right now, but I feel like it's still slowly starting to come back, which I've been seeing.
Okay.
More things have been coming on the market, more options are becoming available to my buyers, which has been fabulous. I feel like every week now we see new things come up, and it's refreshed. It's nice.
Yes.
Especially for like the buyers, my clients who are very like they're in a very, I wouldn't say a box, but they're in a very certain category of where they're looking at, what they're looking at, and the price point that we're looking at, right?
Indeed.
So it's nice to see things are consistently coming back to the market, that it's not just like, okay, well, we've seen everything, now we have to wait until a couple weeks.
Well, and what do you think that's attributed to?
I would say I think there's more motivation to sell now. So I like to focus on the 5 Ds of things. So divorce, diapers, diamonds, what another 2?
So people are getting married, having babies, people are getting divorced, people are dying.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the way of life.
It's our last D.
Yeah. So that's where I'm finding the motivation, especially now in the summertime where especially a lot of jobs get relocated. So that's where I think the inventory's kind of been picking up. Things have been moving, especially like in my age range. A lot of people are now starting to get serious. They're getting the diamonds on their fingers, right? They're moving in. So like people are, I think the action of things is starting to move a little bit more compared to like even like the winter time, right? I feel like wintertime a lot of people like to stay put, and I understand that because of the snow and everything. But I think now in the market that we're in, let's call it summertime market now, we have seen things starting to roll a lot more. And it's nice, like I've been saying, for like my buyers, because like now we're starting to see a lot more refreshed options for them. But I will say it still leads to a lot of competition. I mean, we see homes still getting over list price. People are waiving inspections, which is crazy to me. Appraisal guarantees, like it's still that kind of market. I don't want to not say that we're not doing that.
Oh yeah,
but
absolutely.
I just think we're getting a lot more options now, which is going to start slowing down the competition. I think it's not going to be tomorrow, but I think within due time we'll start to see competition kind of slow down a little bit more. Houses are sitting for a little bit longer, to be honest. Unless you have like the diamond crest of the neighborhood, you're probably going to be sitting a couple more days longer. I mean, houses still sell in a weekend.
Absolutely.
If your agent's really doing some fabulous marketing, you can really do it in a weekend.
Absolutely.
I promise you. I mean, it's not impossible.
And so what I'm seeing is that, but the houses that are on the market, they're typically overpriced.
Okay.
Because anything and everything is selling because the inventory is so low.
Right.
Now some neighborhoods are on the rise. And there are certain developing areas.
Correct.
Which, fluctuates the inventory, or influences the inventory. And so the thing is, it's still a very competitive market though.
Very.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, there's one neighborhood in Farmington Hills that I've seen 3 different properties go up on the market within the past like month and a half. I'm like, I really should door knock this neighborhood because I could probably get a listing out of it. But noticed that, and I can guarantee you other agents have noticed that as well. 'Cause I bet you they're bringing their same clients back who lost on that first property to that second property. You might lose on that second property. Now that third one just came up. I'm like, oh.
Well, here's a principle in real estate, right? When you see typically one home go up for sale in a neighborhood, that first home usually actually sells at a lower price point than other homes on the market, and those price points start to rise. So,
I forgot what the specific statistic is, but don't quote me on this, but I know like there is a method behind this madness that when, let's say in a neighborhood, one for sale sign goes up, I think it's like someone within a quarter mile radius now has the idea planted in their head saying, oh, that for sale sign went up. I'm thinking about selling now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of triggers like a domino effect.
Indeed.
So now that one house went for sale, that neighbor down the road is like looking like, oh, hey honey, maybe we should sell.
Yes.
And they just kind of, I mean, that's what happened in the Farmington Hills one, I guarantee you, because it was the first one sold, and then another one came on the market the next week. I'm like, that's no coincidence.
Because, I mean, you have families and they have it in the back of their mind, but they have that fear or they lack the knowledge of what's going on in the market.
Right.
And so they just are kind of hesitant and straddling whether they should list or not.
For sure.
So it takes someone else to be the pillar or the leader.
I was going to say the line leader of it all.
Indeed. And so that's what we're seeing.
What else are you seeing in the market?
I've been in the Detroit market specifically heavy, and I'm seeing a lot of investors starting to buy more in the city of Detroit. The Union Station, the Grand Station, train station just reopened.
Yes.
Right? You have all the new developments downtown Detroit. And so a lot of the investors, they're looking in actually in this like one specific cluster. And things
do you know why?
Yeah, because I was talking to my client, well, my most recent client, who's out of, is from out of state. Okay, and so like he said, there is nowhere in most metropolitan cities where you can buy a home less than $50,000 that's within 5 to 6 miles from the center of downtown.
Right.
And so we see what's happening in the city of Detroit, and we know that it's on a rise, and so it's coming back.
For sure, there's no argument about that.
And so the time is now to buy.
Right, before it gets to where it's going to go.
Absolutely, because downtown Detroit and some of those surrounding neighborhoods, you're already looking at $500,000 houses.
Right, it's crazy.
And so eventually that's going to spill over into some of those other neighborhoods.
Right.
That leads into downtown.
Right, it's like get ahead of the ball.
Yeah.
Before it hits.
Exactly.
Because you'll be a one happy man or woman.
Absolutely.
Because you did it before.
You'll do it again.
And you'll do it again. And you'll do it again.
But in addition to that, right, the Detroit Down Payment Assistance Program Round 2 has just launched.
Tell the viewers about that. In case it triggers any.
Absolutely. So the Detroit Down Payment Assistance Program is for down payment assistance and closing costs. They're offering up to $25,000 towards the purchase of a home for first-time home buyers. First-time home buyers being defined as someone who has not bought a house within 3 years. But even if you lost a home between 2012 and 16, then you'll also be eligible for this program funding. And so how it works is you have to, for one, already have gone through the pre-approval process. You have to have a home that you found, and it has to be under contract. You have to take a home buyer's education course, become certified, and then you can apply for the down payment assistance program. Now, the thing about it is you may not qualify for the full $25,000
Mm-hmm.
but it's on a case by case basis.
For sure, any money is better than $0.
Absolutely. Additionally, you have to be a resident or have been a resident of the city for the prior 12 months
Okay.
as well.
Gotcha.
And so everything else is pretty much the same, whereas in order to qualify for a loan, you have to have, the work experience and history for 2 years.
Right.
Your credit score, 600-ish,
Mm-hmm.
preferably 620, and get
That's
you
it.
into a
Yeah.
program.
Yeah.
Get
I
your
mean,
closing costs.
it all just starts with asking the questions.
That's right.
At least just figuring it out. Because you know what? I bet you there's going to be a ton of people who think, oh, I don't qualify for this. And little did you know.
You may qualify. And
What's the worst you hear? You just don't?
Right. It's either yes or no.
Right.
And so one thing to add to it is the program also allows for individuals to layer funds.
Okay.
And so if your lender has a down payment assistance program that you qualify for, you can layer those funds in addition to the funds you receive for the down payment assistance.
I think that's key because it's not like you're just limited to one specific program.
Mm-hmm.
You can stack them on top of each other, kind of like create your own deal at this point.
Exactly.
It's just about asking the questions.
Right. And here's the thing. So now let's say, for instance, for example, you're looking at $100,000 property.
Okay.
Right. And
Yeah.
so you qualify for the $25,000, down payment assistance and closing costs. That $100,000 just went down to $75,000.
Isn't that crazy? Just because you inquired about something.
Indeed. And those payments, it'll fluctuate as well.
For sure.
And so most of the down payment assistance programs are also forgivable.
Mm.
And that's the one thing that I think a lot of folks fail to mention. Some of the programs will put a lien on your home.
Yeah.
But most of those liens drop off 7 years down the line.
Yeah.
And so you don't have anything to worry about unless you sell your home
Right.
within those
But
7
then
years.
that's when you talk with your fabulous realtors
You gotta know.
about what your game plan is.
That's it.
So any other specific or even just like interesting things you've been seeing in the market so far? As like, I guess we're transitioning out of spring, going into summer. Anything else you've been seeing or just?
So I'm seeing the average home prices on the rise.
Mm-hmm.
I am seeing that. So that means the price per square foot is going up as well.
Mm-hmm.
For Detroit specifically, I'm seeing in certain areas, again, there's not a lot of inventory being created, but I'm seeing that the city of Detroit specifically has began demolishing a lot of those blighted homes and lots and things like that, cleaning it up. And so what that tells me is that there's redevelopment happening in the neighborhoods now.
Mm-hmm.
Those homes have been sitting for so long.
For sure.
But one thing about the city of Detroit, they're not tackling these neighborhoods until they're ready
Right.
to execute a plan.
Right. If they're not just gonna go in and just demolish a house
Right.
just because someone complained.
Right.
They're like, listen, we need to figure out what the plan is for this neighborhood,
Exactly.
where we're gonna take it, because at the end of the day, that's the city's property.
That's right.
I bet you. If
Yes.
not, then it's someone else's and they're just not taking care of it.
And then you still have the land-based properties where you can find the homes for a couple $1,000s.
Mm-hmm.
That's the purchase of it, but you still have to have a pro forma, which outlines your plan.
Mm-hmm.
To get the home back to code and things like that. There's guidelines there, which can become very costly for some individuals.
For sure. I think that's an important aspect that a lot of people don't
Consider.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they don't consider that when going down that route, but I mean, it could be fabulous for someone. Could maybe not work out for another person. But like, that's every aspect in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is so situational and so specifically. If you have to take that, go ahead.
I don't.
Okay. every transaction is so different from your next one.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's not going to be the exact same. Like, oh yeah, I'm just ready to sell my house now. I mean,
You're right.
it's not like the reality TV shows how they make it seem like, oh, you just walk into a house and you just sell it for $1 million.
No.
It'd be nice. It'd be really nice. My commission
really
checks would look fabulous.
We like that,
I
guys.
would love that, but honestly though, I kind of do like it's in this industry. You have to think so much outside the box,
Absolutely,
and get creative with different solutions for our clients.
Yeah,
and I think that's why also a lot of people struggle in this industry is because they're just different boxes you have to get outside of.
Yeah, you have to look at real estate from different angles. Be able to provide a strategy, you know, for multiple.
I feel like it's like a spectrum in a way, right? It's
Absolutely.
not just like one boom, boom, boom. It's like, where do you land on the spectrum? Where do we need to to get you to where you need to be?
And I love that you said that because I've been having conversations with folks, and those conversations are, listen, this is how real estate can work for you. You know, you selling your home. Maybe you do need to relocate, but let's consider this and know that you also have these options and these options.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Because I feel like many people just think black and white. I'm like, there's a gray area.
There's definitely a gray area, and there's a lot to do.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Everyone has a solution. You just got to figure out what's your solution. And how did they figure out that solution with you, Shalonda?
Well, in order to find out what the solutions are, you just gotta call me. I love to hear from you. You know, reach out to me, whether that's on social media. You can inbox me, call me, or text me. Also, you visit the webpage. But I'll give you my information. My name again, Shalonda Wather. You can find me at Shalonda Wather on Facebook. Actually, Shalonda L&O. Because the L&O is like no other, just in case you didn't know.
I love that. When I first found out, I was like, that's so genius of you.
That's been my name for a long time. So depending on where you know me from, if you know me, then you know. But give me a call, you guys. 586-339-8321 is my contact number. My email address is Shalonda, spelled SHALAUNDA.KW.com. And Dylan, you know, tell them how they can reach out to you.
Best way to get in contact with me is to call or text to 248-891-9860. Or if you're not a caller or a texter, you can definitely just check out my webpage. It is DylanMostyn.com, spelled DylanMostyn.com. And I look forward to having a conversation with you.
And as always, you guys, it's always a pleasure to come and bring forth this information to make sure that you're informed so that you can make a confident decision as to where you'd like to end up in the real estate industry or in your real estate journey. So you guys, reach out to us. Let us know what questions you have and also what more information we can bring forth.
For sure. I mean, at the end of the day, the whole podcast is designed for you viewers. So what are the conversations you were looking to hear about or engage with, right? What topics of real estate are you interested in? Is it the investing side? Is it the buying side, the selling side? There's so many different aspects, like we're saying. It's not just black or white. There's that gray area. So hit us with the gray areas of where you want those conversations to be pointed towards. It will definitely shoot out some episodes for you guys, designed for you guys, shot with Shalonda and Dylan.
And so shout out to the Leverage by Design studio. And I think that's a wrap for today, you guys. Dylan, you got anything?
Yeah, shout out Leverage Design. Thank you so much. And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bam.